Hello everyone and welcome back. Today I wanted to share with you how to install a new door lock on your new door. Now this door is an exterior door and it has a deadbolt and a hand lock. And the interior doors, for the most part, unless you actually want a deadbolt, come with just a door lock. Now this is a brand new door and this one is already, the door holes are pre-drilled. These notches for the lock mechanism are pre-drilled and also in the door jamb. So this makes the job very easy. Now if you don't have a door with these, let's just say you replace a new door for your closet or for your bedroom, and you just take the door itself without the jamb, you have to drill your own holes, okay, which you can do yourself with a kit. And we actually show you how to do it in the previous video if you'd like to see that. And you're gonna have to notch out these sections here. It'll sit flush, otherwise it's gonna be sticking out. Before we get started, I'm gonna show you what this kit consists of. Okay, so we do have a dual lock kit, which we use one on the front door and this is the side entrance. And this is what it consists of, okay? You have this is the door lock itself, okay, the hand door lock. And this is the mechanism that actually slides and locks the door when you turn the handle. And it comes with a, let's just call it a skid plate for this mechanism to slide in. Now this plate right here that's angled at an angle, you can see this one is meant for the door handle lock, since as you can see this one is angled. And what happens is when you shut the door, I'm just gonna explain how this kind of works so you kind of have an idea. It goes like this. And it pushes in, click, and now it's locked. And then when you turn the door handle, this pulls in and you push it out. So that's why you want to use this one, and don't confuse them with the deadbolt because it's not going to work. This one is going to be very difficult to install on the wrong spot. So it will still fit, but it's not going to work the same. So for the door lock also, you have these two screws. Now these are the smaller screws, and this is what's going to hold this two door locks, two parts of this handle lock together, right through those two little holes. Now, also you have 4 small screws, 2 of them which are gonna go on this plate, and 2 of them are gonna go holding this locking mechanism inside your door. Now for the deadbolt, it's a little different, and there's a lot of screws all together, so you have to figure out which ones are go where. These are kind of self-explanatory, they're very long, and they're gonna go for the deadbolt, okay, because it has a longer range to secure, and they're a little heavy dutier because the deadbolt is your main source of your security for your house. Then you're gonna have, for this section, it has a little baggie for both. You have 2 small screws, which is only gonna hold this locking mechanism inside the door, because all it does is just hold it in, because this is not gonna go anywhere. Now, you're gonna use these 2 longer screws to secure the plate that this mechanism gets locked to. The reason why you want to use these longer screws for this is because your deadbolt is your main security, and if somebody tries to break in, the small screws can rip out. These go right through the door frame and hopefully into some solid wood behind your door jamb. So that's what this consists of. Now let's get started to install it. Now we are going to start with the bottom portion. This is the locking mechanism, and technically you could make a mistake and actually flip this 2 ways. If you install it this way, the door is not actually going to close because you need this angle to be going against your door jamb, because as you can see, if you push this way, it locks in. So it's a very simple mistake some people do, and then they realize why the door won't close. So you flip it around, you install this right inside here, and you're going to use those 2 small screws. Now, you could use a screwdriver like this, level it inside that little slot that pops in that's made for your door, especially when you buy a brand new door, and you put it and start screwing it in. Now this one already had a hole pre-drilled because somebody had, I took an old door lock off of it. But if you didn't, you can either pre-drill a hole or you can literally just screw it in. It is a little harder to screw it in. You're not gonna split the wood, it's really thick here. So you do the same thing. I'm just gonna continue using a drill for the rest of it, since I just wanted to let you know you could do it with a regular screwdriver. So you screw this in, okay, there you go. Now what you do is you take your door lock, key entry on the outside, and you're gonna push it right through this hole, like just like that. Now you take this portion and you match up, there's a square here and there's these 2 little holes, plastic guiders, and you have 2 holes here. So you just match it up and you wiggle it in and you slide it. Now, you take your 2 dedicated bolts for this. You kind of have to pinch them together so nothing falls apart. And you just try to push them in as long as everything is level and lined up. And you want them to be lined up with the back hole where it's going to be screwed into, and then you put them in lightly. Sometimes you have to play with it, and you have to literally find that little hole in the dark. So you find it, you start screwing on your screws so you can at least catch it. You do the same thing with the back. You put it in and you screw it in a few times, knowing that you actually got it into the thread. Now, if you pull it away, you can see that you actually got it. Okay, now, in this case, I am going to be using a screwdriver, since using a drill, a lot of times you can not feel if this thread is actually in there or it's tight, and you can strip the thread or strip the Phillips head on this, and I don't like doing that. So what you do is you put it at an angle and you kind of just work it in very slowly and try to make sure that you're not pushing this thing to the left or the right. Just kind of let it sit nice and level and just screw it in until you kind of see it getting tight. Okay, you feel this, let me tell it right there. Now you're going to do the same thing here on the other side and screw this in. Now, you want to give it a little tightness just so the door doesn't get loosened up over time, but not too tight. Make sure that the door opens freely. Sometimes if you do it when you jammed it in and tried to screw it in, sometimes it won't even open. So everything is good here. Now with this one, and I made this mistake plenty of times, it shows you an arrow and it says up. So that's the way you're going to install it. This is up and you're going to slide it in. If you do it upside down, we're going to have a hard time trying to align those bolts with the back side of this, and it's not going to work because the way the deadbolt is made, this is offset right here. So the only way you'd be able to install it is upside down, which you don't want to do that. So because these are offset, you have to make sure you have this facing up the right way. So please do that. Otherwise you're going to be struggling, wondering why this is not working out. How come you cannot install the door lock? I had that happen to me. I mean, I figured that out pretty quick, but either way, as you can see, it's offset, it's a little lower. So if you can see my fingers right here, right underneath it, okay? Now if I take this out and turn it around, as you can see, this lock portion is all the way up top. So it's about a ½ inch difference. That's why it's not gonna work. So you have to make sure you pull it out and swap it into the up position. Now we are gonna be using tiny little screws to hold this in. This is just to hold it in so it doesn't, so it just stays in place. Now I am going to be using a drill, and as long as it's centered, you put it right in the center of the hole, because if you do it anywhere else, it's going to really kind of push it down. So you want to put the screw in the center of the hole. What I do is I push the screw in a little bit and then I start drilling. And this way you don't need to pre-drill any holes to make the screw go in easy. If you do, make sure you do use a tiny little drill bit, because you don't want to, you still want this to catch a lot of thread. Okay, there you go. There you go. So now, once again, you don't want to be confused, and the key portion is going on the outside of the door, and you push it through this little hole. Make sure, as you can see, you can twist this. See that? Now you want to make sure you have it straight, not sideways, like this. You want to have it straight, so it's going to be easy to align the back. I'm going to have this nice and straight. I'm just going to put my finger on it. Okay? And this shaft should be straight as well. Now you take this second portion right here and you fit it over that little slot. So you might have to turn it. Well, I got it on the first try, but let's just say you see it doesn't go in, and you turn it and it slides in. Now, to align these door locks, you have to, if those holes are covered by this lock, all you do is you turn it. And then all you do, as long as your lock is lined up on the other side, if it's not, you're not gonna find the hole for these bolts. And as you can see, they go in nice and easy. If it's off, you're not gonna find that hole and you're gonna be very frustrated. Why? You can't find those screw holes. And when you take this out, you can't see it. And then when you have to put the cover on, so you can't really see what you're doing behind it. So you have to make sure the front is definitely level with the keyhole, and this is level right over where the hole should go. And then it makes your life very easy. So once again, you can just use this to screw it in. Just heat it up and use a drill. Okay, there you go. That portion is done. As you can see, locks really nice. Okay, now what we're going to do is the last step is installing these suckers. Now, you can even see it that the bigger portion is for the bottom, which is for the door handle, like I explained, and this portion goes for the deadbolt. Once again, long screw for the deadbolt section, small screw for the bottom. So you want to lock up. Also, there's two ways of putting this on. There is a groove cut out right here, so as you can see, this is tapered. So if you put this screw in, you can see it is flush. And if you put it through the other side, the screw actually sticks out just a bit. So you want to put it in the tapered portion. So you put this in, put your screw right in the center of the hole. And that's important because if you do it offset, it's going to push that plate to the left or to the right, whichever way your screw is. I'm going to do the first top one since it's hard to hold the plate at the same time. Now, if you pre-drill these holes with a really tiny screw drill bit, it does make it easier, but normally I don't see a reason why you can use it. Put it in. This one already had the holes, so it's pretty easy. Good go. Okay, and there you go. Now, the door should, the way also this door works is, if you notice here, you have this thing, this door, when you open the door, this slides open. And when you shut the door without turning your handle, this slides like this against that angled piece. Now you also have this little guy. And you might be wondering what this is for. So you're closing the door. And as you can see, I'm just gonna move this. I'm pretending we're closing it slowly, and click, this one comes out first. Okay, the big part. And that's your door shut. Now, if you keep on closing your door, click, this finally popped out. Did you see that? And that's when you know your door shuts. I'm gonna do it slowly so you guys can hear. If you close it really lightly, okay, it locks the door. But if you wanna weather seal it and you push it harder, it locks on the second portion and it keeps your door really tight against the weather seal. So in the winter, you're not really having any cold air coming in. So on the older door, you wanna make sure you set this plate in the position. If you only have one click, you have to move this plate back that way. If you have 2 clicks and you don't even have the option to make it tighter, then you have to use this plate back this way. All right, folks, well, this is how you install a door lock and a deadbolt. Hopefully this was very informative for you. I definitely would want you to install it the correct way so you have a perfect seal with a double click locking mechanism on your door. Most people don't know that, and they're either bypassing it and not using the full function of the door. In this case, it's working just right. So hopefully this was informative for you, and I'll see you next time.